And now, Shooting It Straight with Donnie C. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shooting It Straight with Donnie C. I am your host, Donnie C, and with me, as always, my good friend Dave. Dave, how you doing today?
I'm good, Don. How are you?
Doing good. So today, Dave and I are doing something a little bit different. And this one is pre-recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Going forward, they're going to be live.
Yep.
We're going to start doing live shows every Tuesday, 5:30 Mountain Time, that's my time, and 8:30 Eastern Time, that's Dave's time.
Mm-hmm.
So 5:30, 8:30, we're going to go live on Tuesdays. And the reason why we're doing that is because a show that Dave and I really enjoy watching is coming back on for season 4. So the show that we're talking about is The Boys.
The Boys. Yes.
It's on Amazon Prime. It started in 2019. It's based off of a comic book, which I don't even know if you know this, Dave, but they actually, for the show, they had to reduce the sex, drugs, and language or profanities for the show.
My God.
So I've never.
I can imagine what it would have been like if they left it all in. Holy.
I can't even imagine. I have some comic books from back when I was a kid and everything else. I got some old school comic books. I know you're into a lot of Marvel and movies and stuff like that. I don't know how much of the comic books you're ever.
Comic
really
books, I'm not
into.
that
Right.
Yeah.
But I read that and I was like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if you don't know what The Boys is, it's a show, like I said, on Amazon Prime. And I'll read you what. It's a group of vigilantes set out to take down corporate superheroes who abuse their superpowers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that says it all right there. If you've seen the show, you know what we're talking about. If you haven't seen the show, imagine Superman. Imagine Batman. Imagine any superhero just going off. If you had superpowers and you decided, you know what? I feel like flying over here and just causing havoc. Okay, I'm a superhero. I can. And these superheroes do.
Yeah.
And there's a group of guys and girls that get together who are considered the Boys, which is where they got the name for the show and the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
The Boys are actually a group of people who are put together to stop these superheroes from abusing their powers.
Yeah.
And
one had a vendetta against one, but yeah, you're right. The overall thing is yes.
Right. Overall, yes. And we'll get into some of the vendettas. We'll get into some of that. So if you haven't seen the show and you're like, you know what, it sounds like something I might enjoy and I'm going to watch it, then you might not want to watch this. And here's why. And normally I wouldn't say don't watch the show because we're awesome. No, because it's a lot of fun and we entertain and we have a good time with it. But this will have a lot of spoilers from season 1, 2, and 3. We're going to go through because they're going out. Season 4 is starting June 13th. Yes. So Dave and I wanted to do a review beforehand of season 1 through 3, just a quick recap of some of the craziness, some of the characters and everything else. Just give everybody fresh in their brains, just a little reminder of some of the stuff that went on.
And to also get our feet wet in doing this kind of stuff because we haven't. This is not our typical show, so we got to figure out. We got to figure out how this shit works right now.
So we're working with you. We're pre-recording this one, but we're going to start doing it live. So hopefully, what happens is the shows come out on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Once the show airs, me and Dave are going to give everybody a couple days to watch the show.
Including ourselves.
And ourselves. And we're going to come back on Tuesdays, and we're going to do a review of what we thought of the show, and we're going to do it live. So if you saw the show and you want to interact with us, you want to talk with us about it and everything else, by all means, we'll have an open forum. We'll have a chat room open. You can talk to us, and we'll go back and forth with what we thought was cool, what we didn't like, what we think is coming, whatever it is. And there's no set time on it.
No.
We'll discuss the show, and when we get to the end, we get to the end. That's it.
It goes to when it goes, and that's it.
And that's it. So intro to some of the characters.
Yeah. Well, first, I'm going to interject real quick.
Okay.
If you're a fan of Marvel and you're a fan of DC, Marvel's always been a little bit ahead of the DC stuff, but it's always been PC, PG kind of stuff. You know, if you're looking for a more adult version of superheroes.
DC started to push it
a little bit
to a more darker with the Dark Knight and everything else, and started to get a little more aggressive, a little darker.
Right. But
this
said, you know what?
Blowing it out of the water.
No holds bar. Fuck them two. We're out. we're at a different level.
Scenes, if when we talk about some of the scenes, you'll understand if you haven't seen it what we're talking about.
Because there could be a thing of like superhero fatigue where everybody's like, oh, we're tired of all the superhero shit. But this is like phenomenally different superhero show that needs to be watched.
Yeah. And one of the main characters is the Homelander. Now, the Homelander's character is basically a Superman character.
Mm-hmm.
He shoots rays out of his eyes. He can fly. He's got super strength, super speed.
The whole nine, yes.
The whole nine. And he's a complete dick.
Very torn. He's bipolar.
He's emotionally stunted over the years. He is definitely a narcissist and an insecure narcissist all at the same time.
Yeah. Part of him wants to be loved. And then the other part wants to just dominate everybody. So you got those two sides fighting at all times.
Correct. Now, next to every good superhero, you always have a strong second, and that's Queen Maeve. Queen Maeve's character is like the Wonder Woman character, who's this strong, beautiful woman who has to risk things and everything. Oh, you got pictures? Yep. Okay, there's
for reference.
Pictures.
There you go.
Yep.
Homelander's in the middle, and Maeve's on the left. Yep.
Okay, so there's that. And then next to Maeve, you've got the Deep. Who's like Aquaman. But if Aquaman as a character is loved, and in one of the first episodes, he pretty much uses his power to get head from one of the other characters.
Yeah.
And that's the Deep, in a nutshell, and his character.
Yep.
He talks to the fish. He's friends with the fish. His best friend's a dolphin. But it's just messed up. And then to the right, we've got Black Noir, who is his best friend's a dolphin.
I know, but I'm just thinking about the scene what happened with the dolphin. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So Black Noir, he is like Batman and Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe. He's got the combat and everything else, and he's got the dark, shadowy, he doesn't talk, there's no speaking parts or anything else. Next to him is A-Train, who is the Flash.
Yep.
Just a complete dick who thinks that he's the greatest gift and he deserves everything just because of whatever, and throughout the whole series, he's just pretty much a dick about it. And then to the right of him, you got Transparent, who's like...
Translucent.
Translucent, Transparent. Translucent, who's the Invisible Woman from the Fantastic Four.
Right.
And then you have the other character, Starlight. Now, Starlight is the one on the far left, and she's the one that causes all the havoc because she comes in and there's a whole bunch of power struggles and this, that, the she's the goody two-shoes. Right. She's supposed to be Dr. Light. Now, I have no idea who Dr. Light is, but that's what I read. That's what I had heard. I don't know who that is.
So it starts off, they're called the Seven. They had, Lamplighter or whatever the heck his name was.
Right, yep, I think that's what it was. Let me see. Lamplighter, yep. He's like Pyro.
He's like Pyro. Yeah. He ended up retiring, and then so they had to elect a new person into the Seven, and then that's where Starlight comes in.
Correct. Now, the show starts off, though, where Huey, which is the main character, main character as the men, one of the boys, but not yet. He's hanging out with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend's just standing in the street right off the curb and he's holding hands with her. And A-Train is running because he's the Flash, and he's running through, and he's running through, and he's running through, and he literally runs through his girlfriend, Rebecca. Not Rebecca, Robin. Right through Robin. And you see, and I forgot, I went back and I watched it again, and I forgot how quick and gory it was, to the point where you see the blood splatting on his face, and then as they pan down, he's holding her hands. Yeah. And the arms are there's just little stubs, and the rest of her is just all over the road.
That's the instant reminder that this is not going to be your prototypical superhero show, because that happened within like the first 5 minutes of the show, I think. So there you go.
and that's how it goes, and it just takes off from there.
And they were off and running. Yeah.
And it is absolutely ridiculous. And the whole first season is basically them explaining who the characters are, building the character base, and talking to you about Compound V. What Compound V is what gives superheroes their power.
Yep.
So the whole first season is basically building the characters and that. Now,
and the Compound V, can it be used to help them? Because the A-Train was taking it too, wasn't he? He was taking some to help
him keep up with his running, because he was slowly starting to get slower and slower. So he would bump up with the Compound V, give himself a little shot, basically like steroids.
Right. So not only can it create them, but it can help you keep your powers as well.
Correct. Yeah. So you had Huey, who lost his girlfriend through A-Train's running through her.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Then you had Billy Butcher, who comes in and starts talking. Now Butcher's the deep voice, strong lead.
Yeah.
Who's working with the boys, who puts together the boys. He's the leader of the boys.
Yeah, let me get it. Boop.
There we go. There's Butcher in the black jacket. Huey's the skinny white guy on the left side. Yeah. That is just, a typical. He plays the typical "I'm scared to do anything" type guy.
Timid guy. Yeah,
very timid, very timid. And then to the right of Butcher, you have Frenchie. Frenchie is like a genius when it comes to chemicals, and he's always high, and he's always coming up with inventions, doing stuff, and everything else.
Yeah.
And next to him is Kamiko, and she comes in later on. She's not
later on in the season,
but later in the season she comes in. They rescue her, and it's a very difficult. But she's actually a soup.
She's a super.
What they call superheroes, the soups. She's a soup who can't die.
Yeah.
He gets killed and she comes right back to life, almost like Wolverine.
Yeah, but she also, kind of. Yeah, I would give that because she kicks ass. Like she
jumps on people like Wolverine would. Yeah. She attacks people and she gets shot. Yeah. The bullet comes out.
She will literally kick the living shit out of you. Yes.
Yeah. and she does a lot of slashing, which made me think of Wolverine also. So I think that's a good scenario for her also.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Mother's Milk on the right, MM. Now, how he got Mother's Milk, I don't know. I looked for it. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't find out why. I think it's a strange name.
Right.
But that's MM. I don't know. But those are the boys. That's the group of the boys.
Yes.
So, season 1, Dave, were there any special highlights that you can think of that were in season 1 that stood out for you outside of just running through Robin?
I'm trying to think. Season 1, there was all kinds of oh my god moments because this was a new show.
Right. Translucent.
Yeah. I mean so if the Robin thing doesn't get you, they Translucent. They captured him.
Right.
Because Huey was sent to go and bug the office. He went in, bugged the office, but he got caught by Translucent. So Translucent finds Huey, I think, in the bathroom or whatever. They scuffle.
They were in his job with the
That's it. Yeah. Right, and then Butcher comes in. They end up capturing him, and that's when Frenchie comes up with the idea. Hey, I found a way that we can actually get this guy because he's bulletproof. He's impenetrable.
Right.
So
so how do you kill a guy? You can't hurt. They tried drilling him with concrete bits and everything. Yeah. Like nothing was working. Yeah. So what did he come up with, Dave?
He came up with a bomb up the keister. And then I guess this was Huey's first taste in the should I or shouldn't I realm. Right. And he blew that fucker up all over the place.
Guts everywhere. It really is a very gruesome show. It's an awesome show. And if that doesn't bother you, by all means, you got to watch the show.
Yeah.
But there was a whole bunch of different moments like that in that first season. So I mean, you go through it, you'll enjoy it.
For me, that was the highlight because that was a creative way, and it showed that Huey could actually pull the trigger on something if he had to.
It built his character so he was a stronger character. He's not just this wuss who just lets everybody walk all over him.
Right.
He can take a stand also.
Yeah.
Then season 2 comes around.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about how Homelander is like using ends up killing Madeline at the end there?
That's his
who
boss.
He treated it's his boss, but he treated her as a mom.
Yeah, he would sit there and use his X-ray vision to watch her breastfeed or breast pump or whatever.
Yeah,
and she would eat it up and just allow him to just sit there and like she was sticking her fingers in his mouth and he was like her baby. She controlled him by seducing him as the mother.
Yeah, that's why I think, because that's important, because I think she was able to keep him under wraps by doing that.
Right,
and then
was the mother role.
Right, and then when he wiped her out at the end, you're sitting there going, shit, now there's nobody to do
just control
anything.
Him. Nobody control. And then you find out why, also in season 1, why the boys started was because Butcher's wife
he thought she was dead.
Murdered by Homelander.
By Homelander, yeah.
So he made it his mission to try and find his wife because she went missing, so they didn't know if she was dead or what happened. So he's trying to find her, and he's trying to go after Homelander also. So that's the whole cat and mouse of the whole first season.
And that's why I said some people had vendettas. Butcher had the vendetta to get Homelander because he thought he killed his wife.
Right.
But then, so he uses the other guys.
Against A-Train.
Right, and Huey had it for A-Train. And so on and so forth. So they just got that group together to go after them all.
Right. And you find out in later seasons that MM also had a vendetta against a character that comes out in the 3rd season because of his family and everything else. So it all twists and locks together.
Yeah.
Now, season 2 is a little bit different because season 2, the V gets out. The compound V gets out, and now they have supervillains.
Mm-hmm.
And they have new characters come in, and the new character that's part of the 7, because some of the characters from the 7 are dying now or missing or whatever. And even in the cover-ups, they're just covering them up, saying they're on special missions elsewhere and whatnot. They come back in, and the supervillain is Stormfront, who is almost like Storm from X-Men. She comes in with the lightning and everything else. She shoots you with lightning and stuff like that.
Right.
Turns out, as the show goes on, she was also another character from many, many years ago, which was Liberty.
Yeah, Lady Liberty. Yeah,
Lady Liberty. And Homelander starts to fall in love with her, and they start having crazy supersonic sex.
Flying over the air.
They're flying in the air, having sex. Yeah, it's great. It's such a good time. I would totally do that if I could fly.
And she becomes part of the 7 because they had to replace Translucent, so she slides into his spot.
She's into 7 now, so everything's going. And then this whole supervillain thing, the government's coming in now, and they're saying that the Supes should be allowed to be in the military, and the government's saying they shouldn't. And it's a whole bunch of different things about how just the company as a whole, Vought, who's the company that the 7 work for, how they're just trying to manipulate the whole system. Yeah. And they Doppelganger, they have Doppelganger who can imitate anybody. Mm-hmm. And he's imitating a beautiful woman and then turns into this big hairy man with the
Didn't he turn into Madeline? Was that the same guy? He turned into Madeline because at the beginning of the season you saw her and you're like, wait a minute, she's dead.
She was dead.
What the hell? But Homelander used him to turn
whatever. And it's like, I can't hold it for so long. Yeah.
But this season was awesome because the Deep. Look, what the Deep did to get kicked out of the 7 was wrong and whatnot. But the road that they brought him down to get him back, he had to go into the Church of the Collective or something like that. And then the tagline is here, have a fresca or something like that.
Have a fresca. You want a fresca? And Deep is dealing with all this stuff, trying to get back to the 7. That's the whole thing, because he got kicked out in season 1. He's trying to get back now. And he's dealing with all these other superheroes and trying to get back. And he's stuck in a small town that has there's no need for him there. They just try to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And it's just, he goes to the store and he goes to buy a lobster because he's trying to hang out with the lobster because he makes friends with the lobster. And the guy behind the counter grabs the lobster and then just stabs it and kills it right in front of him because he's just going to give it to him to take home and cook. Just crazy stuff. It's just crazy stuff. And
there were so many things that had to do with like Aqualife, and he was in the vicinity when shit went wrong for him, and you could just see him battling the inner demons. No.
Aqualife is almost like SeaWorld.
Yeah.
So all of his friends were in SeaWorld.
Yeah.
Aqualife. Mm-hmm. And he went to rescue his best friend, the dolphin. So he's got the dolphin in the back of the van, and he's driving, and they're insinuating, because he's talking to the dolphin, because he understands the dolphin, and the dolphin understands him and everything. and he's insinuating that the dolphin's hitting on him.
Yeah.
Telling them that they're going to do things together and this and that. And the guy's like, we can't do that now. We got to get you back safe or whatever. And all of a sudden, the cops come and stop him. So he stops short. And the dolphin falls through the window.
Right out the window.
Out the window, onto the ground. He's like, oh. And then an 18-wheeler comes. Boom. And he smashes the dolphin. It's... But just when you don't think it's going to get any worse, like they just pull something like that out, and you're like, "Holy crap! I can't believe they just did that."
Yeah, and like the other was with the whale. He comes riding in on the whale.
Was that the second or the third season?
That was the second season, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. So at the tail end, he starts to get back with the seven, and all the boys are on a boat taking off somewhere because they have a secret weapon, which is one of the soups or whatever, and everybody's trying to get this one soup, and the boys are trying to bring it back to a certain spot, and all of the soups are trying to get them. So they're on the boat, and all of a sudden you see the deep, like the bigger boat that they're on, the yacht that they're on, is getting attacked by sharks.
Yeah.
And then they jump into the boat, the little lifeboat or whatever, and take off because the yacht is destroyed, so they can't use it anymore. So they jump in the little raft boat, and they take off running, and it's this pointy metal, just regular type of boat. And you see the Deep come up out of the water with a whale, and he's like, oh, he goes and he beaches the whale right in front. And instead of them turning, instead of them stopping, they drive right into this bitch. And there's just guts and everywhere. And then Huey's like having a nervous breakdown inside the boat, which is inside the whale, and you just see blubber and stuff falling, and it's disgusting and hilarious, and it's ridiculous, and it's a must. If you haven't seen it, you've gotten this far with us. You gotta watch this show.
Yeah, it's nuts. Because just when you think you're like, so like when one season ends, you get to the next season, you go, where can they actually go? You know, what can they actually do? And they keep raising the fucking bar on this.
Twist at the end with Stormfront, also Lady Liberty. Who was one of the original Nazis. She was like husband to Hitler.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
What?
And then also in season 2, they reveal that Butcher's wife isn't dead.
She's alive. And
she's alive and did.
Yeah. Well, she had Homelander. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. And Homelander didn't know that either.
No, Homelander didn't know. Butcher didn't know. Nobody knew. The company put her in a secret location so that nobody knew. And Homelander somehow found out. And when he got a hold of Butcher, he took him there just to show him that his wife was still alive. And then took him out where he didn't know. So just tormented him even more, knowing that his wife is alive somewhere. But I don't know where in the world she is because this guy just flew me there while I was unconscious. Yeah. I was still unconscious, and he flew me away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when season 3 starts.
Now, mind you, this whole entire time, you can see Homelander starting to get more and more annoyed and pissed off. Unstable. There you go.
Yeah.
With humanity, you know, like how much more of this shit am I gonna put up with, you know? Because he's like, he views himself as a godlike person, so he's like, why am I catering to these humans?
Right. His reality of being a superhero is slipping quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah. And didn't at the end of season, didn't the sun, was that season 2 or season 3 where the sun zapped Stormfront? That was season 2, right? The sun zapped Stormfront and hit Rebecca by accident.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, Rebecca. Rebecca ends up dying.
They were fighting, one of the final fighting scenes was everybody was going after Stormfront. Because they were trying to get the boy to safety and make sure that the kid was safe.
Right, so, and they were Stormfront was going to kill Rebecca, but then the boy rescued her, but missed his shot.
Right, because it was the first time he ever shot lasers out of his eyes.
So he ends up killing his mom and maiming the shit out of Stormfront.
Right.
But that didn't stop Homelander in season 3.
Nope. So then season 3 starts, and they introduce Temporary V, Temp V.
Temp V,
which is now it's the Compound V, but it's only a temporary 24-hour superpower that humans can take that gives you power for 24 hours. So you don't know what the power is, but you take it and you get a superpower for 24 hours. Mm-hmm. So as the show's going on, it's the whole struggle of where's the kid? Who's got the kid? I'm going to get the kid. Then also, now good versus evil. One of my favorite scenes, though, in season 3, out of all of the seasons, is Dave. Do you know what my favorite scene?
It's got to be the that episode, the
Herogasm.
There you go.
Herogasm. What Herogasm is, it's basically an orgy for all the superpowers.
All right, hold on, time. The overall arc of season 3 is about Soldier Boy going back and killing all his ex-teammates, but Don's favorite episode is the Herogasm. Shocker.
And there's one guy that can change his body size and he shrinks.
Oh yeah, that's the ultimate.
Now, wait a second. Now, in the beginning of season 3, they're at a party and this dude is partying like a rock star, just doing blow and everything else.
Yeah.
And he's fucking Barbie in the dollhouse and everything else. And then he ends up going, and him and his boyfriend are hooking up or whatever. And then he shrinks and he goes inside of his penis.
Yep.
And as he's rubbing the inside of his penis, he sneezes and loses control of his power and she becomes humongous again. And the guy's whole section, his whole body blows up. Like, what? Welcome to season 3.
Welcome.
But that guy is in Herogasm also. And you literally see him. He's on a table, and there's a woman with her legs spread wide open, and you see him running and then diving. I'm like, that's awesome. Right? And these are all the reasons why I go, the comic book's worse?
It was the worst. Exactly. Yeah.
How? I don't understand. It makes me want to read a comic book.
Yeah.
And then they have the guy with the penis, who's just gross. It
stretches
everywhere.
all over.
He enters the door from Herogasm, and he just
go gadget penis.
It was just ridiculous. But that's my favorite part. That's not the whole. My favorite part of it. But yeah, so they introduce Soldier Boy, and the reason why they introduce Soldier Boy is because the boys find a way to stop Homelander and take away his powers, and they don't know what it is yet. But there's a weapon. Soldier Boy's the weapon, so they bring him back. But his team is the one that double-crossed him to put him in solitude for so long. So before he does anything for anybody else, he goes, I got to take care of my guys. I got to take out my crew. So he goes around and he does a killing spree, and there's just mayhem everywhere. And then Butcher's taking Temp V. This way he's getting powers. Huey's taking Temp V to get special powers.
Yeah, I think Huey was able to teleport all over the place. But he ended up being naked or something like that. And then Butcher got like the laser eyes, I think, like that.
Super strength and the laser eyes.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, it was crazy. And then this whole time, it's also a romantic show.
Yeah.
Because Huey is in love with Starlight, and Starlight's in love with Huey, but they can't really be together because Huey's part of the boys, and Starlight is part of the Seven. Yeah. And the whole tug of war through all 3 seasons of going back and forth and what's right, what's wrong, how do we do this, how do we see each other, and everything else.
And Mother's Milk wants to be home with his family or whatever, even though she's moved on because he's trying to fight this fight with them and everything. Yep. So there's
then Frenchie and Kamiko, they started a relationship, and they want to run away together and just be on their own and everything. So there's a bunch of love stories that go along in this that were for whatever. But I mean, basically, it's about sex, drugs, and violence. Pretty much. I mean, is there anything else to it?
No, not really. You pretty much nailed it. The only caveat about the Temp V is that for humans, if you take 3 to 5 doses, it becomes fatal for humans. And I think when season 3 ended, I think Butcher was at around his fifth one, so he knows that Huey was like on 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, I think Huey did it two times, I think.
Right. So he's teetering.
Right. And then one of the other characters that we didn't talk about was what's her name? Victoria Newman.
Oh, Victoria Newman. Yes.
She's I think she was a senator or something like that. She was in Congress or something to that effect.
Congresswoman or some shit.
Congresswoman. And she was trying to get to the bottom of everything and figure things out. And then at the end of season 2, Huey is working with her. And then he finds out that she's actually a suit also.
Yeah, and that that right there, not only did you have the storyline with Soldier Boy, you had this mystery of who the hell was making heads explode throughout the whole entire season. So as you're watching each episode, you're just sitting there waiting for a head to pop because you didn't know it was going to happen. Because there was at the trial, how many heads went popping in there and everybody went running out.
Ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Everybody's running around. Heads exploding everywhere, blood flying everywhere, guts, people slipping on the blood.
Yeah.
It really is. I cannot speak. It's a great show. And I don't know if you know this, but one of the producers or co-creators of that, Seth Rogen.
What? Really?
That's what I heard.
Wow. Okay.
So
good for him.
Yeah.
Keep going.
That, and he was supposed to also, he did another show also that was similar. I forget what it was, but I don't remember what it was offhand, so I didn't write it down, obviously. I'm looking at my notes and I don't see it, but it was this one, and he did another one also, but I don't see it now,
but going into the next season, they're going to have to replace some of the people because Black Noir gets killed. Homelander kills him because Homelander ended up killing Black Noir because he didn't tell him about Soldier Boy because he was in his unit.
Now, so he Soldier Boy, we find out that he's the father.
The father of, we're missing out that caveat.
Of Homelander.
Yeah, he donated the DNA to... Right.
See, it was his sperm that created Homelander. So we find out that that's his father, and now you have the grandfather, the father, and the son all together. And at the end of season 3, the kid picks to go with Homelander because there's a whole battle between everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the kid ends up picking Homelander to go and hang out with. And Butcher made a promise to his wife before she died that he would take care of the kid. So now he made a promise. He cannot not do it.
And Queen Maeve saved everybody because Soldier Boy was about to explode. So jumps out the building with him. He blows up. She survives the fall, but now has no powers or anything, and runs off into the sunset.
Correct.
And they ready to get Soldier Boy and lock him. He's back on ice again, so he's still out there, but just locked up. Yep. So Queen Maeve is out of the 7. Black Noir is out of the 7. I don't think that was the Deep back in or no.
The Deep was back in,
but he was back in.
They did that show where it was like American Idol or whatever, where they were
They put
reality
Sonic
show of the superstar, who's the next superhero in the 7.
Yeah, and they put that Sonic somebody else in there.
Yeah, Supersonic or whatever.
Supersonic, and then Homelander ended up killing him anyway.
Yeah. He's not making it.
And Starlight left the 7 because she doesn't want to have anything to do. She joins the boys for season 4. Yeah. So there's going to be an overhaul. So that leads us to the season 4 trailer. It looks like they're replacing, there was another Black Noir.
I saw that. I was like, where did he come from?
Where did he come from? Are they, and then they had somebody else that looked like Queen Maeve, but that's not Queen Maeve, you know? So I wonder if they're sitting there trying to just, how do they, like, how they do on daytime soap operas. Like, this character is now being played by this person.
Right. So I don't know what they're doing, but the series as a show, I love the show. I love watching it. I can't get enough of it. I even watched, there was a spin-off of it. I don't know if you've seen it, Dave, the Gen V.
Gen V's out there. I have not seen it yet. I do want to watch it.
It's a good, if you enjoy this, Gen V is basically the kids, not kids, but college.
Okay.
It's the college version of superheroes battling for position to get brought up into the 7.
Into the 7? Okay.
And do you remember the scene where Huey went into the orphanage to get some information and I don't know if you remember or not, but in season, I don't know if it was the end of season 2 or the beginning of season 3, I think it was 3. He goes into an orphanage and he downloads some stuff with a hard drive or whatever.
Okay.
And he's doing stuff. And on the paperwork, I didn't know this, but I read this. On the paperwork, it's Mary M. Now, Mary M is one of the main characters in Gen V.
Okay, so they tied it together.
So they kind of set it up and tied it in. This way it kind of shifts over and stuff.
Yeah.
As a whole, I can't wait. June 13th is going to be the new season 4. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to expect. Yeah. Because anything I think I'm going to expect, I'm going to be wrong.
Yeah, the way it looks from the trailer, this Homelander and his guys are just going to do whatever the fuck they wanted to from the beginning. and they're just gonna go nuts. And it just, I don't know, this weird shit, because you see the one guy get clocked upside the head and bubbles come flying out. bubbles. And then they got flying, look like possessed sheep, a rabid chickens.
The chicken. The chicken goes through somebody's chest. Chicken's on me. And Francie's like, I can't believe this is happening again. And then Kimiko looks at him like, again?
Yeah, again. So yeah, season 4, if it holds up, it looks like it's going to be just as trippy as the other 3 seasons, man.
And
I can't wait.
You're supposed to have 4 and 5, right?
When I was on IMDb, it listed up to 5, so there could be a 5th season.
There might be a 5th season, but we're going to be here for the 4th season.
We'll be here for 4, yeah.
If you can, and you want to hang out with us live, watch the episodes. Yes. And then, like I said, every Tuesday, it's going to be me and Dave doing a recap of the episode, 5:30 Mountain Time, 8:30 Eastern Time. It should be a lot of fun. If nothing else, we get to talk about the crazy crap, like, Kimiko beating up and killing people with a bunch of dildos. You remember that scene?
Yes. But see, right here, we just basically skipped over a lot of stuff because we don't want the episode to be... a lot of stuff. We don't want the episode to be, 5 hours long. No. So we can at least go a little bit more in depth each episode to episode and dive down a little bit deeper because
and especially if you're with us and you're hanging out with us and everything else and you've got questions or comments or you want to bring up something that happened in the show, please, we would love to have you. Be a blast.
Join the conversation because there's stuff that we might miss that you might catch and enlighten us on it, man. So
so I can't wait for the season though. I'm very excited about it. I'm hoping that it comes soon. But until then, so we'll be back this Wednesday for our regular show, Shooting Straight with Donnie C. That's our regular show. But then we'll be back again on Tuesday doing live Shooting Straight with Donnie C and the boys.
Yep.
All right. Well, until then, we'll see you guys later. Enjoy the show.
Peace, everybody.